Today I wanted to showcase a career run using Rice Shower and win the URA finale in a long racetrack. This showcase is aimed at beginners or for people looking to win a career with Rice Shower, since she can be a bit tricky to win with sometimes. For this career, I will be using bad legacies and some decent support cards just to show you guys how this run can be done for beginners who may or may not have good supports. If you have better supports than the ones I will be using, then this run will be a lot easier. However, I do highly recommend you have a Super Creek as one of your supports, just because she helps a lot for long distance runners and gives you swinging maestro. The rest of the supports will be 3 speed cards and 2 wit cards. I am using a strong support card as my friend, but I will nerf myself by having a level 1 wit card. The key for this run is we will try to only do long races in order for our finale to be a long distance race. Now, first things first, you really want to train the stats that have the most friends in it. It is crucial that you level up your friendship with the other supports as fast as possible. If you do not have very many supports in your trainings, then you can spend a turn to increase your mood and recreation. So the early game is just focusing on doing training with your supports to boost friendship, but as you can see, I'm also trying my best to keep stamina and speed up. One useful tip that you should get in the habit of doing is training wit. In order to recover energy, if you can learn to do this, then training will be so much more efficient and you can maximize your training output. Now, once we reach our debut race, I want you guys to set your preferred position as front runner. I know this might sound crazy, but no matter how bad your front runner grade is, you should always do front runner for your debut race. The reason why is because if you let yourself be in the back, there is a chance that you will be boxed in and lose your debut race. It doesn't matter how much better your stats are than the bots, because at this stage, getting boxed in is very difficult to get out of. That is why I always choose front runner for your debut, and you will win 99% of the times. So after the debut race, we have a lot of time to train, so this is the time where you really want to increase your friendship with your supports, along with keeping speed and stamina up. Stamina will be very important in order to win the long distance races. You do want to also keep track of the requirements that Rice Shower has when meeting her goals, so make sure to complete some races. In the beginning, I don't recommend you to race too much because she will not be ready for long distance races yet. Also, one thing I forgot to mention at the start is that she does have 1 mile race that she has to run at the beginning. Now, Rice Shower does not have a good rating for mile races, and this is the part of the career that you may struggle in or be unlucky. You will see in a moment on what I mean. Quickly going over skills, I will not be spending my skill points till the end of the career except for some necessary ones like swinging maestro. This is not only to show that you can do this run with not many skills, and also it's good practice to spend the skills at the end of a career once you see how your stats turned out. Now, you're going to see when I run this race, I don't actually do good at all. I barely even meet the requirement when running it a second time, which was my fault for not remembering about the mile race. In order to do good for the mile race, you can always boost the stat through your legacies, or be sure to focus on having a higher speed than me. Regardless, you should be able to meet the requirement if you follow what I did. Your next race will be a medium race, and from here on, it will only be medium and long races. So we are beginning to approach the midsection of the career, and around this time, you should, or at least be close to having most of your supports above the orange meter or close to max friendship. You want to begin mainly focusing on speed and stamina, while making sure you try to manage your energy by doing some wit training so that you don't waste a turn resting so much. Now, don't worry too much about getting first place on your races in the beginning, because it doesn't necessarily matter too much, because you will be gaining more fans later on when doing some long races in between training. Just be sure to keep up with your training and making sure her mood doesn't get too low either, since it can happen that you get some unlucky events that lower your mood. We will then be approaching our first beach training, and here is where you really want to make sure you have enough energy to take advantage of the training. I highly recommend you rest before the beach training starts, but taking a turn in the beginning to rest and boost your mood can be good as well in some cases. When doing beach trainings, you want to target your main training targets, which in our case is speed and stamina. There may be some cases where you just get unlucky and you get no good supports in the training fields you want. In that case, just stick to stamina training and take advantage of the boosted results. After that, it is mainly just the same repetition, and we simply just continue training speed, stamina, and wit. Soon, we will begin to look for long distance races in between our training in order to fulfill the requirement to run a finale on a long distance track. I will let this play out and stop when the next big event occurs. Alright, so before the new year starts, you want to make sure you run the Aramaikainen in December. You will be running this race in the future goal, but running it now will be a good help for us in order to change the finale to be a long distance race. It is crucial now that you begin to win all your races in order to maximize your fans and continue gaining skill points. So while you're training, be sure to scout at the upcoming races and run as many long races as you can fit in between your training schedules. Now, the rest of the video will be just me going over how I do my training and fit in long races in between my training. I will be stopping again once we reach the URA qualifiers and will explain the strategy going forward. Feel free to skip ahead if you don't want to see the training montage. Alright, so we have reached the final race requirement for our goal, and now your stats should at least be similar to mine. This is more than enough to win the URA finale because keep in mind the career runs boost your stats in the races, so they are higher than what we see right now. Of course, this wouldn't be a viable build for PvP, but if you use better legacies and support cards, you will definitely have a strong rice shower if you follow this run. Now, if you haven't already, you should grab Swinging Maestro in the skill list. And one other skill I do get is Homestretch Haste, which does help sometimes in order to break through the very last stretch and maintain the lead. If you followed the same steps as me, you should be able to clear the remaining qualifier races pretty easily, and you will see that your finale will be a long distance race. Even though I didn't have the most optimal support cards and good legacies, I still managed to have some pretty decent stats in order to finish this career pretty smoothly. It definitely could have been an even better run if I prepared a bit more for the mile race, but now you know what to look out for. And that's pretty much it to Rice Shower's career. She can be a bit difficult to manage if you get unlucky with her mood swings, but overall her career is pretty straightforward and gives you plenty of time to train for your races. Now I will let the final race play out and I'll see you guys in the skill section at the end.
娘が差し返せるのか気になる開きです。
順位を振り返っていきます。現在1番手はマルゼンスキー、マヤのトップガン並んでくる。3番手にライスシャワー、そしてグラスワンダー。3番続いている。まずは1周目、正面スタンド前に上がっていく。その後ろハッピービーク、さらにライバスターレット。11番並んできた。その後から9番外から行く。2番内をついて、5番外シンボリルドルフ、後から成田ブライアン、そして内目をつきましては4番、そして外目をつきましては17番、内には6番、後方2番手に7番8番、最後方からという体勢であります。シンボリルドルフ、果たしてどうでしょうか。
馬場状態を確認しながら走っている感じですね。まだ本気ではないですよ。
1コーナーから2コーナーへ向かうマヤのトップガン、快調に飛ばしていきます。依然としてマヤのトップガン続きました。マルゼンスキー、4馬身差ライスシャワー、3番4番手、5番手にはハッピービーク、すぐに続いてグラスワンダー、1馬身差ライバスターレット、そしてその後方には11番2馬身3馬身開いて2番、そしてその外を回って5番内で9番、2周目の向こう正面、各馬娘たちの動きが激しくなっています。依然先頭はマヤのトップガン、続いてマルゼンスキー、あとはライスシャワー、後ろ3番、そしてその後ろから行くのはグラスワンダー、外を回りますハッピービーク、そしてその内を回ってライバスターレット、1馬身離れて11番、その後ろから2番、外には5番、そのうち並んで9番、残り1000メートルを通過、外を回ってシンボリルドルフ、4番追走、外から成田ブライアン、内を回ります6番、その後ろに17番2馬身差8番、最後方ポツンと1人7番、マヤのトップガン先頭を進みますが、これは正解でしょうか。
マヤのトップガン、彼女の客室には合っていますね。
まもなく第4コーナーカーブ、
勝負どころ、最後の直線へとかけていきます。
さあいよいよ直線だ。どのタイミングで誰が仕掛けるのか、まだ差がある。ここから先頭を捉える子は出てくるのか。栄光まで400、最終コーナー、最初に駆け抜けてきたのはライスシャワー、ライスシャワー、速い速い、もはや独走状態、200を通過、食い下がるシンボリルドルフ、ライスシャワー、リードは6馬身、先頭は依然ライスシャワー、強すぎる。3番手争いはマヤのトップガン、成田ブライアン、強さを見せつけてライスシャワーゴールイン。圧巻の走りでレースを制したライスシャワー、 URA ファイナルズ決勝を制しました。今ここに優秀たちの頂点が誕生です。2着シンボリルドルフ、3着はマヤのトップガン。ライスやったよ。
And just like that, you completed Rice Shower's career run, and if you haven't already, now you have a trophy for winning a long-distance finale race. Hopefully you guys were able to follow along and complete this career. If for whatever reason you still weren't able to, then I want you to take a look at your stats and see if your stamina was too low, or maybe your wit was too low so you weren't able to activate your skills. These are typically the causes for failing your runs. If there are any other issues, be sure to leave a comment and I'll help you out. But moving forward, we can now choose the skills we want. The more skills you have, the better grade you get at the end, so it's always important to try and getting as many skill points as you can to have more options. I typically grab skills that I know will be good for my builds because in this case, Rice Shower is a pace chaser and she does have to run long distance races, so I will prioritize skills that will be easier to activate and any other recovery skills that can be useful. So as I mentioned before, this isn't the best build for PvP, this is just a showcase for beginners or new players that are trying to complete a career on Rice Shower. However, this method can still be applied in order to build a really strong Rice Shower once you are able to obtain some good legacies and have some good support cards. Anyways, that is all that I have for you guys. If you enjoyed this video and learned something, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you guys in the next one.